Hey folks, this is Kelani. Another raid means another set of raid achievements, which means another mount for completing those raid achievements. I present to you the Antoran Gloomhound, the purple Fel Hound of Sargeras, which can be all yours by simply completing the Glory of the ARGUS Raider achievement. But fret not, I am here to hold your hand and walk you through these achievements step by step. Some of them are fairly easy and straightforward, while others can be a bit complicated or annoying. So let's get started. I'd recommend doing all of these achievements on normal to make it significantly easier. There's no reason to do them on heroic. On the Gothy Wallbreaker boss, you might have noticed a few worms pop out of the ground whenever he casts Decimation. Your achievement is simple. Kill 16 of these worms using the Decimation ability and then kill the boss. You can track the achievement and it will stay red until you've killed 16 worms, and then it will turn white, showing you you're good to kill the boss. I recommend getting the boss through the first Apocalypse drive and destroying the Annihilator weapon so you get a lot of Decimation circles to work with. At this point, just stop DPS until you've killed all of your worms and then finish off the boss when that's done. Moving on to the Fel Hounds of Sargeras, this achievement is a little more complicated. You can DPS the bosses down to around 10%, providing your raid knows how to stop DPS. You will notice that the green pools around the room can have a little purple or orange graphic on them. If you drag the purple boss to a purple puddle or the orange boss to an orange, they will gain a stack of Fel Imbuement. If at any time the bosses are within 40 yards of each other, all stacks of Fel Imbuement will be removed. You need to get the bosses to 5 stacks each and then kill them, so you need to drag them around the room to the puddles of their colour while keeping them apart at all times. We just rotated the bosses the same way around the area until they both got their puddles, and then repeated as necessary when more puddles spawned. Get them to 5 stacks and kill them to get your achievement. The Antoran High Command achievement is easy and straightforward. Kill the bosses without placing more than 3 shield emitters. That means your pod controller needs to be aware that they can't drop more than 3 emitters at any time. I would recommend not using any shields for the first 3 fusillades, and cover them just using healing cooldowns. After that, start using your shields. If your DPS is good enough, you might not even have to use the shields at all. Easy achievement. Portal Keeper's achievement is a little bit strange. At the start of the fight, you don't want to deal any damage to the boss, just deal with the mechanics. You will need 1 mobile DPS to hop up onto the fire platform, grab one of the flames, and run it over to the green platform. You then need another player to go up onto the shadow platform, grab one of the shadows up there, and run over to the green platform. The shadow debuff player should then grab a poison puddle and the flame that the other player brought from the fire platform, so all 3 debuffs should be on 1 player. That will open the chaotic rift you need for the achievement. All that's left to do is kill the boss as normal. Note that the chaotic rift won't open at all if you take the boss below 90% health before a player gets all the debuffs, so just don't damage the boss until the rift has opened. Throughout the entire fight, the rift will pull players towards it, both on the main platform and all small platforms. Random players will also receive fire, fel, or shadow debuffs, which explode after 15 seconds. They deal near lethal damage to the player, but if you go onto the platform that matches your debuff, so if you get fire debuff, you run to the fire platform, fel debuff to the fel platform, and shadow to the shadow platform, you won't take any damage when the debuff expires. Many of our players could survive the blast with a Pridaz, but with all of the other damage during the fight, it might just be smart to run onto the platforms. Kill the boss and you'll get your achievement. Next up is ENR, which doesn't even require you to pull the boss. Throughout her area are 5 golden orb locations, but they spawn sequentially, so you have to pick up orb 1 before orb 2 spawns, pick up orb 2 before orb 3 spawns, etc, etc. The first orb is here along the middle path. The next one is by the start of the middle path. The third is underneath ENR's platform. The fourth is underneath the upper pathway. And the final one is around the mountain from where we originally came. You can have 1 player do this entire route before you pull the boss, or after you kill the boss, or just have 1 person stood in each location so you can get all of the orbs in record time. Imanar's achievement is super easy and fun, and during both transition phases when you run across the bridge, all you have to do is trigger all the traps. You should probably go a little slowly through the AoE bombs and such, but a quick healing cooldown should keep everyone healthy. You should have 1 player run ahead and trigger as many traps as they can, getting dispelled and healed along the way. Using immunities like Turtle and Bubble works wonders for this. Trigger every trap in both transitions and kill the boss for the achievement. King Garth is probably my favourite achievement. Those purple bombs that roll around the entire area and people usually run into are the key to this achievement. You need to have 9 active at once and then kill the boss. Our entire raid hugged the boss and just ate any purple bombs that were rolling through the melee areas, keeping all of the ranged ones alive as much as possible. When you need to move to kill the ads, you've got an awesome game of Frogger, so watch out for that. If you can avoid the bombs easily, that's great, but if you're having trouble, just get the boss to below 6% health and keep one ad relatively low health. Hug the boss, keep everyone alive, and wait for 9 bombs to be rolling around at the same time. Finish off the ad, which will also kill the boss, and you should get your achievement. Mattress has a very easy achievement, just don't have anyone trigger alone in the dark. For the most part this is very easy, your tanks stay stacked, your raid stays stacked and moves as a group for the fissures. The only problem is marked prey. Whenever this ability goes out, someone will get knocked back. The way we dealt with this was to make sure our rogue was the closest target to the boss and was always stood in front of our stacked DPS. Whenever marked prey went out, he would get knocked back, but instantly shadow step to an ally. That made sure that the knockback never sent him far enough away to trigger alone in the darkness. This is probably the easiest way to avoid the knockback, but I'm sure a variety of other methods would work if you don't have a rogue. Just have one person get knocked back purposefully who can quickly get back into the group. The Covenant of Shyvana is a very annoying achievement. You need to have one of each Titan ad active before you kill the boss. If your healers aren't comfortable keeping everyone alive for an extended encounter, you might want to throw 1 or 2 more into the mix because you're going to be here a while. We chose one side of the room and kept an ad alive through the entire encounter. Most of these are pretty easy. For Norganon, you just root one in the corner constantly until you kill the boss, making sure no one is ever doing anything remotely damaging anywhere near that ad. Golganath is pretty easy as well, just make sure everyone stays spread and that ad basically does nothing. Khazgaroth is a little more annoying, but keeping one of the flamethrower ads alive isn't too bad as long as people avoid the fire. Aman'Thul, however, is a pain in the rear end. The stacking debuff that the ads put on the entire raid means you don't really ever want to keep those ads alive. So if you get Aman'Thul's first or second, you probably just want to kill everything and go round again. I would recommend getting 1 Norganon's, 1 Golganath and 1 Khazgaroth ad ready to go, get the boss down to 5 to 10%, once again making sure that your raid knows how to not hit a boss when they shouldn't, and as soon as the Aman'Thul ads physically spawn, you can just ignore them and nuke the boss. This worked out pretty well for us. Aggramar is a pretty fun achievement, but can be incredibly frustrating. You need to have 1 small ad get hit by a full Taishalak combo twice. So this means a few things. The first is that you need to keep a small ad from an intermission alive for an extended period of time. We chose one specific ad spawn location and killed everything else. When the ad that we chose to keep alive got relatively close to the boss, we banished it. We actually had someone swap to a warlock just for banish, because it's the most reliable form of crowd control to prevent both movement and damage to the ad. Your ad needs to be close enough to the boss to get hit by every foe breaker and flame rend, but far enough away so the boss will never accidentally run into it. When your ad is in position, your tanks just need to tank Aggramar so their foe breakers will hit the ad. You also need your flame rends to hit the same location, so your raid will have to move in front instead of spinning the boss around. Foe breaker, flame rend, foe breaker, flame rend, searing tempest. Every single ability has to hit the small ad, and you need to do the full combo twice. Once the small ads have been hit by everything twice, he will turn into the special ad you need to kill for the achievement. Weirdly, the ad just sort of falls over, so don't worry about actually having to tank it or the ad making the fight harder at all. We used an ad from the first intermission and didn't DPS the boss at all in the second phase until the special ad had been created. Once we killed it, we just finished off the fight as normal. Now, Argus's achievement can be a huge pain, mostly because the whole thing takes part in the last phase, so if you mess it up you have to do the entire fight again before you can even set up the achievement. You need to collect 20 motes of Titan Essence in 5 seconds, and then kill the boss. So if you kill the boss without actually collecting 20 in 5 seconds, you'll either need to wait until next week or find a different lockout. These motes spawn when you kill the orbs around the room, but they don't last that long. You can also only pick them up in the spirit realm. To set this achievement up for maximum chance of success, we had markers around the room and assigned our melee to them, so everyone would run to a different area of the encounter. Then we waited until the 5th spawn of orbs, just doing the fight as normal. On that 5th set of orbs, we killed them all and then had our assigned melee die. They waited in the middle of the room as spirits. When the 6th set of orbs came up, we had all of our other DPS kill the orbs and then kill themselves by standing in the orb's void zone as it dies. When all of the orbs were dead, our melee ran out to their assigned locations looking for the motes. Our ranged also released and started looking for orbs themselves. In our group, only the tanks and healers were left alive. Every DPS was a spirit hunting motes at the same time. You need to collect 20 within 5 seconds, so as long as you kill the 5th set and kill the 6th set before you start picking up orbs, you should be fine. And that's how you can get your hands on the Glory of the Argus Raider achievement and this shiny Antoran Gloomhound mount. If you have any questions or queries, please leave them in the comment section below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave, and if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always, I will see you next time.